opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
And hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Thursday episode of Running Point on YSNLive.com, brought to you, as always, by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you, so you don't have to. And one of the ways we do that, of course, is with our player profile interviews that we're able to feature on this show every single day. We also do coaches' corners and a lot of other fun stuff on this show that we like to feature the great people that we have in the community of these wonderful schools. We're going to do that today, but it's going to be a live guest, which is so exciting on the show. 1:15, Jaylee Wilt from South Range will be joining us here live on Running Point. The ace, the junior from the Raiders team that is once again propelling South Range to another very successful season so far, 14-1 on the year. The one loss coming in Myrtle Beach. They just got a win over Poland last night, and she had 14 strikeouts. So we're going to talk to her about what it's been like the first year in the circle for her and how it's been for her stepping up for this team so far this season. That's at 1:15 here live on the show. So without any time to waste, we're going to hop right into the scoreboard, get through as many of the scores as possible before 1:15. And then if we have to, we'll jump back into the scoreboard after Jaylee Wilt pops on. So here are your scores from Tuesday. First, the YSN scoreboard is always presented by Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. And it is a great tool for the YSN fans, whether you are at one of the games or watching one of our broadcasts. Either way, you don't want to look away from the screen for too long, and the YSN scoreboard is a great tool for our fans to get live updated scores across the YSN family. So here's your scoreboard from last night. We'll start with baseball, and Grand Valley gets a win over Cardinal 3-2 as they nip the Huskies in a pitcher's duel. Lakeside gets the best of Jefferson 13-3. The final score. That Lakeside baseball team, nothing to mess with, as they're starting to have a really successful season. Orange unfortunately gives up a lead late, and West Geauga sneaks up and beats the Lions 7-6 in that final score. Rivalry game between East Liverpool and Beaver Local on the baseball side. The softball side was blue, and then the baseball side here is red. Other way around. Softball side the night before was red. Baseball side is blue, as the Potters beat Beaver Local 6-4 in that rivalry matchup. Columbiana beats Wellsville 17-0 to complete the sweep of the Tigers inside the EOAC. Edgewood and Conneaut was moved to a later date, so that game did not happen last night. Same thing with Latonia East Palestine. We were unable to get a score there, but we did get one from Hoban as the Knights are able to knock off Louisville 7-4 with some really good offense against a very good pitching staff from Louisville. United able to beat Southern 13-1, the final score there. Austintown Fitch matching up with Warren JFK, and the Eagles get the big win 6-2, the final score in that one for JFK's win. We go on to Springfield, who ends up sweeping Waterloo 13-3, the final in that one. Salem falls to Marlington 3-0. We have Lowville and Struthers. That game did not get reported on, but we do have a score from Howland and Boardman as the Tigers beat the Spartans 5-1 there in Howland. South Range falls to Poland as the Bulldogs stay undefeated, 12-0 on the season, 3-1 in a very good, well-pitched game for both teams. St. John is able to beat Fairport Harding 19-3. Your final score there, Mohawk all over Beaver Falls. Final score 15-1. And then West Branch falls to Carrollton in game 2 of that matchup 4-3 after beating Carrollton the night before. Carrollton comes back and splits that season series with West Branch. We go into the softball side, and Ashtabula St. John falls to Fairport Harding 9-8 in a wild one. Waterloo beats Springfield. Final score there 25-9. A lot of scoring going on in that one. Columbiana beats Wellsville in game 2 of that series 16-0. Your final score there. Crestview and Garfield was canceled because of the temperatures. East Palestine gets a 16-2 win over Latonia. We have Hubbard able to beat East 14-0. The final there. So Louisville comes into Canfield and upsets the Cardinals 5-4. This is a matchup between two of the top-ranked teams in their respective divisions. Canfield ranked in Division 2, Louisville ranked in Division 1, and Louisville gets to win 5-4. Only one of those runs was charged to Melina Toth. Every other run was unearned, as the Canfield defense just had one of those tough days. 3 errors on the defense helped Louisville score just enough to hold off a late Canfield rally. Leah Figueroa hit a home run in the bottom of the 6th to make it 5-3. They eventually made it 5-4. Just couldn't make that last run to complete the rally. Louisville hangs on. Good, stressful pitching from Soroman for Louisville, who had the start. South Range able to come out on top in their first game against Poland of the season. This was, of course, a rematch of last year's district championship, as well as a heated rivalry in the NE8 that's been going on for years. South Range gets the edge thanks to Jaylee Welch's home run in the bottom of the first, the 3-run shot, and really that was all they needed. They added a run in the 6th to make it 4-0. Poland answered with one in the top of the 6th, and then after that, Jaylee Welch shut the door. 14 strikeouts for her, and South Range with an impressive 4-1 win. Jackson Milton and Southeast was canceled last night. United goes to Southern and wins 20-5 on the road as 20-5. Sam Lippian, 8 RBIs on the night, a big night for her, as that is a monster number. That might be the highest RBI total we've seen in the Ysn family this year. Badger wins against Warren JFK 17-1. Your final score, Ursuline falls to Gilmore Academy 10-4. Beaver Local played a doubleheader with St. Clairsville, won them both 14-2 the final in game 1, and then 14-3 the final in game 2. So the Beavers get a doubleheader sweep of St. Clairsville. Does it for the scoreboard. Let's go and talk about some of these baseball games that happened. We can dive into them since I ran through that quick thinking, I only have to 115, and I kind of overshot it a little bit. Let's get Game Changer up and running and talk about some of these games. I want to start with Austintown, Fitch, and JFK. We might be able to talk about this one before JD Wope pops up at 115. Because this was a big heavy hitters matchup between, of course, one of the best teams in Division 4 in the area, and then going to a Division 1 team in Austintown Fitch, who has been playing pretty well this year. 6-2, JFK gets the win, and it is thanks in large part to a great pitching performance from Jaden Ritchell, who went 6 innings, only gave up 4 hits, 1 earned run, only walked 1, struck out 4 on his day. So in the 6 innings, he was able to use 99 pitches, 59 of them were strikes. He did have 1 hit by pitch, so that's another base runner there. But just 1 earned run. And then he also Had good offense. Michael Condolian was 2 for 5 with an RBI for JFK. Dom Ryan had an RBI, no shocker there. He was 1 for 4. Caleb Headley, who's up for Hadley, who's up for Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley this week, was 1 for 2 with a run scored and an RBI. He also walked twice. So a good eye at the plate for him. He's always having a good eye at the plate. That's why his on-base percentage is as high as it is. Caleb Hadley, the catcher for JFK, having a great day. For Austintown Fitch, Frank Sinadak, who's had a great season, continues to do well at the plate. He went 1 for 2 with an RBI. The other RBI came from Jackson Cheeks, who also pitched really well. He went 2 for 3 with 1 RBI for Fitch. Cheeks, I'm sorry, he didn't pitch. I'm sorry, Wilbert pitched. Went 5 innings. Only gave up 3 earned runs. Struck out 3. 7 hits, 3 earned runs. So he did enough to keep Austintown Fitch in the game. You give up 3 earned runs, you're doing something right. 4 runs total, 3 of them earned. That's enough to keep you in it. And that's a good pitching performance from him. And his first name's Anthony. How bad can he be, right? That's a good first name for a strong young man. I'll tell you what, Mr. Wilson, I oblige you. But JFK does get the win. They have a little bit more offense, and they score a couple of runs late, 6-2, the final score there in that one. And that was probably the biggest matchup, the most anticipated matchup on the baseball diamond of the day. And it was one that was kind of a late addition, too. It wasn't originally on the schedule. They were able to just find a way to play each other on that turf in Austintown through the cold weather, through all the tough cold weather that last night was. It was really cold, guys. It was like I was sitting in South Range doing the game. I think first pitch temperature was 47, and then as the night went on, you get closer to 7 o'clock. It probably dipped down to the low 40s. But the saving grace, at least at South Range, I don't know how it was everywhere else, but in Canfield, the saving grace was that it wasn't very windy. So you get straight up 45 degrees with no wind. It's still not ideal, but it's at least a lot better than a windy day. I will say, I thought from my perspective, when you're looking at how bad the weather was, I thought that Saturday's 50 degrees, like low 50s, with the huge gust of wind that we did at McCoon Park, I thought that felt worse than last night, to be honest. I would much rather have 40s without wind than 50s with 35-mile-an-hour winds coming through. It was so windy on Saturday that me and Ty were like squinting and trying to cover our eyes because we were getting hit by not just the wind but the dust from the field. It was not ideal conditions on Saturday. But last night, yes, it was cold. I will say that I definitely obliged in some hot cocoa from the South Range concession stand. Thank you to that. That was definitely coming in clutch during the middle half of the innings, being able to take a few sips of a nice hot cocoa, hot cup of hot cocoa there for you during the game. And then we got through it. And what I'm looking at, Storm Tracker 21, the weather update for the rest of the week, we look like we might be golden. Going to be in the 60 today, and then getting into the 70s and 80s next week. So we got through the cold last night, and we should be getting through some great weather coming up. And what else is coming up is South Range Ace in the Circle. We were talking about their game. Jaylee Wilt popping in from South Range. Jaylee, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Can you hear me all okay?
Yep, I can hear you. Thank you for having me.
You got it. I hear you good, so that's always awesome. Jaylee, you are obviously a junior, and you come into this year, the first year as an ace in the circle, number one pitcher for the South Range team that has been so good over the last 10-plus years. What was it like for you to know that this opportunity was coming for you and that it was your turn to go and be in the circle for this program?
Well, I obviously had to be patient because there were absolutely outstanding pitchers in front of me, in Julie and Sam. And I just really knew that in the offseason, I had to work really hard and prove that I deserved to be in the spot that I am now.
It's funny that you used the word patient because this year, this society that we're in is not patient, and everyone wants things right now. What were some of the things that kept you like, hey, I'm going to get my opportunity. I got to learn from these seniors as much as I can and not get frustrated being patient? What helped you to just bide your time and wait for your opportunity?
Well, I got to pitch a lot in travel, so that obviously helped. But just knowing and believing in myself and knowing that I wasn't not playing because of my ability. I wasn't playing because there were amazing pitchers in front of me, and I just had to wait my turn.
Those amazing pitchers that were in front of you, how much did you take from them? Like how much were you able to sponge from Sam Suzanne and Julie Stakowitz and be able to take the things that they taught you into this year, your first year in the circle now?
I honestly took their confidence. My aunt, she actually pointed out every single game last year on how if Julie and Sam gave up a hit, their heads didn't drop. They kept focused, and they didn't let their team know that they were struggling. So I really looked at them, and I really learned a lot in the confidence aspect.
Yeah, and you've had reason to be confident this year. Your stats show how successful you're being. When you go through the year now and you've gone through it and you look back on the year so far, like what has helped you maintain this success and not be able to be rocked by some of the first things you're going through on the varsity level? What things are you leaning on this year?
I'm leaning on my past travel season. I did pretty decent, and I'm also just leaning on my team has my back. So if I don't perform as well as I know I can, I know that they're going to be right behind me, and they're going to be uplifting me like the whole time. I really just go back on my ability, and I talk to my pitching coaches. I talk to my other coaches if I'm struggling, but I just have to know in my head that I can do something, and hopefully that will help me do it.
And when you say your teammates have your back, you mean it because this defense behind you is very, very good, and a lot of them have returned from last year. What's it mean to you to, not have to go out there and strike out everybody and know that you can put the ball in play and know that your defense 9 times out of 10 is going to make that play?
It relieves a lot of pressure. This team is so very special to me, and we've played together for I can't even tell you how long. And we're all friends, so I know if I make a mistake, they're right behind me, and it's a big relief.
We're talking about how it's your first year on the varsity level, but you've been a part of this program obviously for the last 2 years. You've been with these girls, you've played with them, you've practiced with them. What's it mean to you to be a part of this softball community at South Range that supports its team so much? And obviously, we've talked about how successful this program is, but also how close and tight knit this program has been.
This community is unlike any other I've ever seen. Everybody, it doesn't matter what sport you're in, you get supported no matter what. They're always there behind your back. And again, these girls and I have played together forever, and it feels like it's finally our time as like a group. It's just really special.
You talked about your travel season and you play with and against a lot of high level softball players in travel. What's that do for you? How does that help you grow as a player?
It definitely gets you prepared for things that you don't think are going to happen. I definitely get hit a lot more in travel since I'm playing against like more like combined like better teams, like because there's players from obviously different schools. It just gets me prepared for if something goes wrong, I need to bounce back. I also play travel with some of my high school teammates, so it also just um, creates more chemistry between us. So when we do get to high school season, we just gel a lot better.
The thing about travel is it helps you build the friendships and the relationships with other softball players around the area. We've seen them support you. We've seen you support them. What's it mean to you to have other players that aren't even on your team that are rooting for you, that are there for you, that are supporting you and wanting you to succeed?
It means a lot. Some of my best friends on my travel team, they go to different schools, and they are always supporting me. Their parents are supporting me. It just widens my community around me, and it gives me a lot of relief knowing that I know I have the ability, but other people also know I have the ability, and it means a lot that they support me.
when and if you get to compete against those travel teammates, what's that like for you? What's it like going up against some of your best friends?
It's a lot of fun. I obviously try to strike them out because me and my friend Caitlin Pleska at Columbiana, we played in the athletics tournament, and I did not get to pitch that game. But last year when I did pitch, I struck her out, and it was the most fun I've ever had because she doesn't strike out very often, and it's just a really cool experience.
Talk about strikeouts. You already eclipsed 100 this year. When you got that, we were there for that milestone moment. I know that was one of the goals that you had. You wanted to prove to yourself that you get to that triple digit number. What did that mean to you, and what does it mean to you that you're able to obviously have the success with the strikeouts as you've been able to have?
It means a lot. It just validates my ability in my own head. My last my last two travel seasons, I've gotten 100 strikeouts like in a whole season. So I really put this expectation on myself to get 100 like in as few games as possible in the high school season, just to prove that I have been working harder in the off season and that all the work I've been putting in has gone to good use.
I want to talk to you about the relationship between you and Heidi Bartels because she's in the same boat as you are, where she's stepping into the shoes of an all-state four-year starter in Kelly Zolik. So having a catcher with you that's kind of doing the same thing you're doing, stepping into a new role, a much bigger role in the varsity level, what's that been like for you building a relationship with her and being able to work with her all year?
It's been really great. Heidi's that type of person where she is always smiling, she's always laughing, and it's actually a very great thing when you're not pitching the best because it's such a horrible feeling when you're pitching bad and your catcher just looks like you're pitching bad. So when she's smiling and laughing the whole time, like if I miss a spot, I look at her and she just starts laughing, and we just have a relationship that I feel like is unlike any other, and it really just helps me calm my nerves during a game.
I feel like the Bartels signature is "it's fine" with a smile. It's fine. That's love their energy, love their positivity. I also want to talk to you about the off the field memories you have with this team, especially this year, Myrtle Beach, being able to go down there and be a part of the varsity hoopla for the first time, and what that's been like for you, and what the off the field memories mean to you with this team.
Well, the off the field memories really just help us like connect and gel together as a team. It's stuff that we can laugh about in school and during a game. Uh, just for example, like just getting to see the coaches on more of like a personal level it really helps like gel us all together as a team. Seeing them get to like relax a little bit and not be so uptight about a game. It's really nice, and it's really great to see. Also, the girls, us staying together all the time, we're not really used to that. So it definitely, like, we get to know each other more on a personal level, a little bit too personal sometimes, but definitely on a personal level.
I love that you brought up your coaching staff because obviously they've been there for a long time, Coach Rose and Coach Farron. Um, what has it meant to you to be coached by them throughout your career, and what have they helped you grow in the most as part of your softball game?
Well, Coach DeRose and Coach Farron are absolutely amazing coaches. I could not ask for better coaches. They are just very knowledgeable, and they've been to the big state games before, and they just help me calm my nerves, and they give me advice on pitching because Coach Farron knows a lot about pitch calling, and then Coach DeRose, his daughter Carly, also pitched. So when I'm struggling, they know how to have temporary fixes for some of the problems I have, which is really nice.
Yeah,
Um,
if you're not done, you can keep going.
I was just gonna say that is they just get my problems sometimes, and they just are really good with helping me fix them.
Yeah, because Donnie gets to call your pitches now. So what's that been like to be able to work with him hand in hand and to be able to, obviously trust him enough to know that when he's calling a pitch, he's putting you in the right position to win. What's that been like building that relationship with him?
Well, Mr. Fair and I have a very not on brand relationship. We're always joking with each other, so um, it's been really nice. I don't have any complaints so far. No, I'm saying
So
that.
far.
He's very knowledgeable about the sport as it is. So I have my full trust in his pitch calling, and it's really nice to see me hit my spots and it works out.
Obviously, to have the success you've had to have a lot of pitches in your toolbox. What do you think is the hardest one that you've had to develop, like the one that you had to spend the most time on getting to where it's at now?
Um, well, definitely my rise ball because I that's just a whole separate problem. But I would say in the off season I really worked hard on spotting a fastball because, in my opinion, it doesn't matter how hard you throw, you have to be able to hit spots because spots win games. So me and my pitching coach Bob Smith, we really worked hard in the off season about making sure that if I get a fastball inside called, I hit that spot every time.
When you think about your favorite pitch to throw, what is it? What's the one that you love throwing the most?
I like throwing fastballs outside, but I also like throwing my changeup when it works. Um, it was doing really good in the travel season. I'm still developing it right now, but when it works, it's always so perfect, and it makes some hitters look really stupid, which is it's really funny to watch.
You brought up Bob Smith. Obviously, he coaches a lot of pitchers in the area. Talk about what he's meant to you and what it's like being coached by him as a pitching coach.
He's very knowledgeable. He has worked with some of the best pitchers in this area. He just knows a lot, and he breaks everything down to a fundamental standpoint. He will show you film, and he'll go over stuff with you like over and over again, and every single problem that you have, he has a fix for it like in 5 seconds. And it's really amazing to see um, a pitcher get broken down and then built back up, and that's what he's known for. When I came to him, I was an okay pitcher, but he completely broke me down. I struggled for like a year and a half, and I was about ready to give up, but he kept on telling me, just wait, just wait. As soon as you get it, you'll get it, and it'll be great after that. And that's honestly what's happened. He has really broken me down and built me back up, and I'm better than I ever could have imagined.
You've put so much work into pitching. Obviously, when did you start pitching, and how did you fall in love with this position?
Well, I actually wanted to be a catcher, um, but my dad, he was a catcher and he did not want me to do that. He wanted me to be a pitcher so that he could catch. And I started when I was about 9 years old, and I believe I was Maddie Yannick's first student.
Wow.
Um, and we had a rec ball practice, and she had the whole team. She was there with Kerrigan, and she had the whole team like line up like pitchers and catchers, and she taught us the fundamentals of pitching. And then after that, my dad just said, "Is this something you want to do?" And I kind of just I was like, "Okay, sure." And we started taking lessons, and I didn't really fall in love with pitching until the last couple years. I was kind of just like, and whatever. Like it, I don't really know if it's my thing yet. I just didn't really know what I wanted to do because I didn't really fall in love with softball until the last couple years. So I wasn't really sure like where I stood with pitching, but I'm so glad that he put me in that because I could not imagine playing any other position.
All right, Jaylee, one of the things we have to ask before we get out of here, because we're keeping a tally. If people have been watching our softball player profiles, they know that we're keeping a tally of softball icks. So we have to add yours to the list so we can keep a tally of the softball icks in the YSN family. So what are some things in the softball world that when you see them, it just gives you that little cringe feeling?
Um, I don't like it when people have their jerseys untucked.
Hmm.
I was actually watching the baseball game the other day, and one of our players had their jersey untucked, and I literally left.
I'm out.
I was like, "Yeah, I was gonna support you guys, but I can't support that."
No, that's unsupportable. I love it. We'll have to add that. That's a first. So we're going to add that one to the tally board, and we'll see at the end of the season if anyone else joins that camp. So that's always awesome. Jaylee, one of the things we also do with these player profiles, every single one of them, we give the player the chance to take the spotlight off themselves for a minute and shine it on the people in their life that support them, that are there for them, that they wouldn't be on this journey without. So I want to give you the time to give out as many thanks as you want to the people that you know that have your back.
Well, first off, I would like to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because without him, nothing is possible. I'd also like to thank my parents and all my friends for supporting me. I'd like to thank my pitching coach, Bob, for not giving up on me when he probably should have. I would like to thank my travel organization, FP Select. I'd like to thank my travel coach, Scott Munnell, and Kevin Brogan. They've done a lot for me, and they've really helped me with my confidence. And I've also would like to thank my personal trainer, Jess Leone. He has helped me tremendously build strength in my legs and give me confidence that I never thought I could have before this year. I probably didn't believe in myself at all, and now I really am seeing what I'm putting in, and it's working. So without him, I don't know where I would be right now.
Okay, I also want to let you know, in case you ever think that there aren't enough people out there supporting you, you just broke the Running Point live views record. So we have more views during this interview right now than we've ever had on Running Point. So congratulations on that. There are definitely a lot of people, obviously, that want to hear from you, that have your back, that love supporting you. So we thank you for your time. Of course, we're going to let you get you back to the school day, and we wish you the best of luck the rest of the season. Can't wait to talk to you again real soon.
Okay, thank you so much for having me.
All right. Kaylee Wilt from South Range. I'm not kidding. We had just broke the Running Point views record. We peaked in that interview at 79 views, which is more than we've ever had in one time at Running Point, since I've been the host, at least. We broke it during wrestling season the first time. We had a really big spike during one of our Wrestling Wednesday episodes. I think the mark was 70, and Kaylee Wilt just broke that wide open with 79. So congratulations, South Range, always supporting their athletes and their community, obviously, really backing Jaylee Wilt strongly with the viewership. We thank you so much. And for those viewers, we're going to let you know that we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we will dive into tonight's scoreboard, and we will show you the games that are going to be happening across the YSN family in the baseball and softball world tonight on YSN. Don't go anywhere. Running Point, as always, brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
Craftsmanship to us is 60 years of pride and dedication.
Passed down from generation to generation.
The hardwood floors that your kids take their first steps on.
The solid wood doors you quietly close at night.
The things we create day in and day out are the products that end up turning your house into a home.
At Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, uncompromising quality and craftsmanship built our business.
And it will keep us moving forward for generations to come.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means we want to take care of the community that takes care of us too.
And we have to work together always. And that's how you stay in business for 40 years.
You know, I love being a helper because when I help somebody, it makes me feel good.
It means a lot that I can make a difference in others' lives.
So I will do everything I can and just being there for them every step of the way.
I want them to know within the first 5 minutes that they could depend on me. That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun. It all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
Welcome back, everybody, to a Thursday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com. As always, brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Since we're done with the live interview, I'm going to go ahead and put their logo in the top right-hand corner of the screen. didn't need it for the interview section because you had the big Greenwood logos, of course, over our heads. But Greenwood Chevrolet right there, our proud sponsors here on Running Point. We thank them for their constant support and sponsorship of this show. We're going to hop back into the scoreboard, and we're going to go from last night. We already talked about the games from last night. We will go from last night into tonight and see what games are going down in the Ysn family on this little bit warmer than last night, Thursday, as Storm Tracker 21 tells us that our high today will be 58, and that should be right at first pitch time, even though right now it has not gotten there yet. It's currently 51 degrees in Youngstown, Ohio. So here we go with baseball and softball. We'll start with baseball. The game's happening today on Thursday, April 25th, 2024. A matchup between two Ysn schools in PA, Beaver versus Mohawk. And everyone listen up from the PA fans in Mohawk and Beaver. Our ace photographer, Gary Leininger, will be in Mohawk tonight, so you can have pictures of both the Bobcats and the Warriors on our Smug Mug tonight for purchase. Make sure to check that out after the game if you want to see pictures of Mohawk and Beaver. They are available for purchase on our Smug Mug. Pymatuning Valley traveling to Wyndham tonight. Austintown Fitch hitting the road. They'll take on Cardinal Mooney. We have Boardman going to Louisville tonight in a big one, Division 1. Cheney goes to Niles. Warren JFK gets right back at it after the big win against Fitch last night. This time around, they play Crestview, and it has been kind of a tough week for Crestview. They've been on the wrong end of some really close games, and they're going to try to get a win against another really tough opponent. So Crestview trying to turn their tough week around and get a big program win over Warren JFK. Youngstown East traveling to Liberty tonight. Fairport Harding going on the road to Kinsman to play Badger. Lowville tonight hosting Garrettsville Garfield. That's a cross MVAC rivalry between the Garfield G-Men and the Lowville Rockets. MVAC Scarlet versus Gray Tier down there in Rocket Country. How about the backyard Warren Township rivalry between Howland and Lakeview? That I think that happens in every sport every season. Lakeview versus Howland. It's a must. It's one of the bigger rivalries in the Ysn family, and it's a big one tonight on the baseball side in Lakeview. Latonia traveling to Sebring tonight. Lisbon venturing outside the EOAC. They will go to Jackson Milton. We have Middle Ridge going to Champion tonight to play some baseball with the Flashes. I think this is game 2 of their series. Champion was able to beat Middle Ridge last night 20-0. Unless I'm going to double check and see if they flipped that game, because I know that score came in last night. Yeah, I think they played last night. I think they moved it back. I think that Middle Ridge Champion game, as far as I can tell, got moved back to last night, not happening tonight. Champion's next game on their schedule now is tomorrow against Newcastle, which will be on the road. So just a little adjustment to your schedule there if you are a Champion or Middle Ridge fan. East Liverpool will be hosting Oak Glen. Game 2 between South Range and Poland going down this time in South Range as the Raiders try to split the series and the Bulldogs try to stay undefeated on the season. How about Springfield with a non-conference game against a fellow Big Cat in the Wildcats of Struthers? United will travel to East Palestine to continue EOAC play. Carrollton, high off their win over West Branch, will travel to Salem tonight. McDonald making the trip to Ursuline. And last but not least, on the baseball side, we have Ashtabula St. John versus Chalker. Softball side of things for tonight, we have Pymatuning Valley traveling to Wyndham. West Geauga going to Orange. I think that game happened last night too, because Orange gave up that lead unless it's game 2 of the series. Austintown Fitch will travel to Champion. That's one of the biggest games of the year. 2 teams that have aspirations to try to get out of regionals this year. Beaver Local will be traveling to Struthers. We have Crestview going to Brookfield tonight in the MVAC grade tier action. East Palestine travels to Columbiana to take on the Clippers in EOAC action. Fairport, Howland, and Lakeview playing each other not just on the baseball field, but also on the softball field. That should be a really good matchup between two very good teams, two 10, 11, 12 win teams for Lakeview, as they are still undefeated in the conference, trying to get some more momentum heading into their next conference series. Jefferson will travel to Conneaut tonight. Latonia goes to Sebring. We have Lisbon and Jackson Milton playing each other on both baseball and softball. Boardman will have senior night as they welcome in Poland, trying to bounce back from their loss to South Range. Boardman trying to get some momentum too, as they fell twice to Austintown Fish. So both teams trying to get some momentum in their season as they gear towards the tournament next Saturday. And I think both teams will actually Poland might get a bye. Boardman might be a team that gets stuck with a first round sectional semifinal game. We'll see when the tournament draw happens on a Sunday. Springfield is going to be hosting Rootstown tonight. We have Waterloo hosting Streetsboro. Those will be big tests for both those teams. As Streetsboro and Rootstown are both very good opponents for those MVAC Scarlet Tier teams in Waterloo and Springfield. And then United last on the scoreboard, but first in our hearts, they will host Wellsville in another EOAC matchup. United just trying to get as much momentum as possible before they go on to play their Columbiana series next Monday and Tuesday. So that'll be a big one in the EOAC. Both teams undefeated. It would be basically for the conference championship. That'll be on Monday. So United trying to get as much momentum as possible this week heading into the series on Monday and Tuesday against Columbiana. We have some time. I want to take a little bit of time to talk about this Champion and Fitch matchup and do by the numbers and see how impressive both these teams have been this year. I'm going to break down both their stats for you and get you an idea of what kind of powerhouse matchup this really is for Champion versus Fitch. You know what? I think we're going to start with the home team too. You know, your home team, you get to start first. So we'll go over the very impressive stats that Champion is so far boasting this year on the softball diamond. And I'll tell you what, Fitch's stats are going to be very, very similar, as both teams are just rocking and rolling through this season. But I will say that Champion, because of some weather, they've had some big games on their schedule be rescheduled or canceled. This is probably the biggest test they've had yet. They've been able to make quick work of the MVAC grade tier teams. If Max Preps is going to load, so I can get the stats from both these teams. Bear with me. But as I was saying, this is probably the biggest test on Champion schedule so far, and it's also going to be a big end of the week for them because not only do they play Fitch tonight, but then tomorrow and Saturday they're going to be in LaGrange for the Prebus tournament against very good opponents. So Champion really testing themselves at the end of the week and backloading the end of their season. There we go. Now it's back. Backloading the end of their season to make sure they're ready for tournament time, as all these softball teams are. So Champion 11-0 right now on the year. And when you look at some of the players that have had amazing years, we'll start at the plate, and these averages are just gaudy. As you look at leading the team in average right now is Isabella Meyer, who's future YSU Penguin, hitting 7 out of 10 times getting on base is ridiculous. When you look at her power numbers so far this year, she has 3 home runs, 23 RBI, 26 hits total. She has 12 doubles, 3 triples. It's just something to watch when you're talking D1 talent and Bella Meyer. But then, hey, this lineup does not get any easier because Coach Weaver does a really good job leading off with Gabby Gradishar, who actually I missed, is leading the team in batting average, hitting 737 this year. And remember last year when she hit 14 home runs and she led the Ysn family in that? Well, this year she already has 12 home runs. So she's one-upping her year last year. So 12 home runs, 31 RBI, 6 doubles, 3 triples, 38 hits total, 34 runs scored. I mean, it's nuts when you think about what she's able to do at the plate. And then Addie Warzela, batting .615, just going over another big power bat. 3 home runs, 22 RBI, 9 doubles, 2 triples for Warzela, who does great work with Gabby Gratishar in the circle, as Warzela is one of the best catchers in the area. You have Sam Strock batting .474 for Champion with 2 home runs and 15 RBI as well from Haley Householder with 2 home runs to her credit. Champion as a team has hit 23 home runs on the year. And then if that wasn't good enough, you're going to go look at their pitching. And Gabby Gratishar is, of course, 11-0, just like her team. 51 innings pitched. She's only given up 11 hits all year, 4 earned runs, struck out 112. She has an ERA of 0.065 this year so far. She has given up 1 home run, no doubles, no triples. She has faced 176 batters. So 176 batters faced, she struck out 112 of them. That's nuts. That's video game numbers right there. So it's going to be a big test for Fitch's lineup, who is obviously very good, to go up against Gabby Gratishar, who's also, by the way, going to Penn State to continue her softball career after she graduates next year. So now you got all those numbers. Let's transition to numbers for Austintown Fitch and go over how unbelievably good these stats are at the plate, because it's really just as impressive when you look at these numbers. We'll start with Kayliana Ray, who leads off the team. Is a leadoff hitter. 718. She's a freshman, guys. 718 on the year. She's got 4 doubles, 2 triples, 7 RBI. Those production numbers might be down a little bit because she doesn't get a lot of RBI opportunities at the top of the lineup, but she has 28 hits and 39 at-bats. It's ridiculous. Then you look at some of the other big stars, obviously. Ayla Ray batting .500 this year. She has 10 home runs and 31 RBIs, so she's right behind Gabby Gratishar, 2 home runs back at her. Abby Toth is hitting .622 for this Fitch team. She has a home run and 15 RBI. You look at Kylie Folkwine, who's also hitting really well this year. She's hitting .515. She has 3 home runs and 15 RBI. Obviously, Cindy Watts, we know her from her pitching, but she's also a fantastic hitter. She's hitting just below 400 this year with 4 home runs and 17 RBI. I mean, like, you can just go down this list. Morgan Roby is hitting .543 with 1 home run and 12 RBI, 20 hits total. Sam Severn's hitting .436 with 1 home run, 17 RBI. 9 RBI. Rachel Spalding at the bottom of that order hitting .263, but 6 runs scored. She's also stolen a lot of bases. It's a who's who of who's really good. Lily Stevens batting above .300. There's no holes in that lineup, and both pitchers are really good. So speaking of that, let's go over Sydney Watts' pitching stats this year. The Georgia Tech commit, junior for the Falcons. We went over Gratishar's impressive numbers. Here are Sydney Watts. She's thrown 65 in a third innings pitched. She has struck out 135. She's faced 221 batters, so she's faced about 50 more batters than Gabby Gratishar right now. She's given up 2 home runs, 4 doubles. She has an ERA of 0.072. So just bare, like, hundreds of a points above Gabby Gratishar in ERA. It's ridiculous. She's given up 4 runs all year. 4 runs total. I'm sorry, 6 runs total. All 6 of them have been earned. So she's given up 6 earned runs, 14 walks, 135 strikeouts so far this season. It's 10-1 on the year as a win-loss record. She has started 12 games, appeared in 12 games, of course. It's you can go into the deep stats. I mean, the offensive batting average, she gives up a 0.072 batting average. Her on base percentage is 1.31. Her whip, I think I just lost it. Hold on. I saw it. It's not letting me scroll over. So basically, what the point of the point of the TED Talk is, 2 very, very good teams going into tonight. They matched up last year in Fitch. This year, champion gets the home game. Excited. We're all excited for it. Ty Bartell going to have the call, which segues right into what games will be on the network tonight and who will be calling them. Let's take a look at our spreadsheet and tell you what games you'll be able to watch on YSN. Baseball, we have 5 games on the network tonight. Beaver and Mohawk will be there for Eric Hughes. Derek Rhodes will be at Salem for their matchup with Carrollton. Scene Park 1, Steve Hodge will be there for Mooney and Fitch. Cooper Chavone will be at Lakeview for their matchup with Howland. Joe Eusebio will be in Columbiana for their matchup with Latonia. And then we'll have Sam Torres at St. Clairsville versus Chalker at 5 o'clock. Ty Bartell will be in Champion for that matchup with Fitch. Matt Marr will be in Lakeview for Lakeview and Howland. I will be in Boardman for senior night against Poland. And those are going to be the games that will be on the network tonight. So 6 baseball games, 3 softball games, all on ysnlive.com/live. Make sure to tune in to that. That is going to do it for today's episode of Running Point. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We did officially break the viewership record here on Running Point today during J.Lee Wilt's interview. So thank you all for that. That was a great milestone to have. And obviously, thank you for supporting J.Lee Wilt. Want to thank J.Lee for her time in the middle of the day to come on the show live. And want to remind all you guys, tune in to softball, baseball tonight. ysnlive.com/live should be a really fun night on both sides on YSN. We'll see you tomorrow from 1 to 2 on Running Point, brought to you as always by our good friends over